I've got an API for my to-do list application that I'm feeling pretty good about. It's got all of its policies in place. It's got rate limiting. It's got API authentication. At this point, I think it's probably one of the most robust to-do list APIs in the world, and I'm ready to start sharing it with people. But there's one piece of the developer experience puzzle that's missing. It doesn't have any documentation. I could give people the OpenAPI document, that would be fine, but I would also like to have an experience that looks a bit more like this. A full API reference that's both interactive and great looking. So in this video, I'm going to use Zudoku, an open source documentation framework that we developed here at Zuplo to achieve that experience. I'm going to cover how to get it installed, how to get it set up with your OpenAPI document, how to add new pages, how to build for deployment, and how to deploy it. Let's get started. So to get started, we can run a Zudoku generator that's going to scaffold out all the elements of a basic site that we can then go ahead and customize and get ready to deploy. So let's run that with npx create Zudoku app. We'll get on the bleeding edge here. We need a project name, so we'll go for to-do docs. Would I like to use TypeScript? Yes, I would. Would you like to use ESLint? No. Would you like to customize the import alias? No. All right, let's let that run and install all the dependencies, and then we'll carry on in VSCode. So here we can see the scaffolded project structure. We've got folder for pages, we've got folder for public assets, we've got a configuration file. But let's just run this out of the box and see what it looks like. So we can do that with npm run dev, localhost 9003 in this case. Let's bring in a browser. So out of the box, we've got a couple of pages, got an index page, we've got some documentation pages, and we've got the API reference, which right now doesn't work. So we're going to go and configure that first. Let's move this out of the way. So we'll jump into Zudoku config. You can see there the navigation that we saw and the documentation pages that we saw. And this is the area where we need to configure the API that we want to point to for the reference. So this takes any API, any OpenAPI document in JSON or YAML. There is an example here. If you want to just uncomment this and run it, you can see the Rick and Morty API that we host at Zuplo. But I've got my to-do list API document that I can put in. So let's go ahead and grab it, put it in here, save it, and then we'll pull the browser back in again and take a look at what has changed. So if we click on API reference now, we can see based off of that OpenAPI document, the to-do list API, all of the resources, all of the methods for those resources, all listed out, all looking super pretty. And we can go through them, look at each one, understand what goes into it, what the authorization is, what the responses are going to look like, what the examples are going to look like. It's really complete. And actually this would be perfect with, a couple of little extra tweaks that we can do. It's also functional. So if we click on test, what we can do here is provide an API key for the API and actually make a real request. So if I put my key in here and then click on send, I get back a list of tasks directly from the API. That's a real request that's being made. Let's do another one. We can create another task. So if we go here, put in the key, need a body for this. So let's put a title and a task, get more milk, and send it. And it works. We got 201 created. So already, we can be up and running, giving this to people, having them interact with it, having them work directly with the API using their own API key, which is great. But there's some other things that we need to change here because it's not quite ready for us to give to anybody right now. We've got a logo up here for one that isn't the logo for our API. And the colors don't really match the theme that we're going to as well. So let's do some customizations around that. So if we jump into the Zudoku documentation, we can head to configuration and see what it is that we need to change. And the first thing that we're going to do is this page object here, which will give us control over the title and also the logo that we have on the screen. So if I move this out the way, we can get started adding this in. We'll put it into configuration at the top. We don't want our documentation, but documentation will be fine. And then we need to add some logos in as well. So let's create a folder in public. Call it logos. Why not? And then we'll pull our logos in here, drop them in. So we've got a light version and a dark version. So let's go logo and logo dark. And I think around 200 pixels is the logo size. So save it. The server's restarted. So let's take a look. If we pull the browser back in here, everything's still looking great, but we now have our logo in place and our site title's changed to documentation. Can flip over to the light version. You can see that we've got the different logo in place for that. Let's jump back to the dark version though, because that's way too bright. All right, what's next? What else should we do? Some themes, I think, next. So let's go and grab what it is we need from the documentation in order to do that. Head on down to theme. So we've got a couple of light and dark options that we can customize here. So we'll take that and add it into the configuration right here. So this uses ShadCN UI and Tailwind under the hood. So anything you can do with that, you can also do with Zudoku. So that also includes using the ShadCN UI like theme generator to grab some colors. So let's do that and customize a little bit more with our own colors. So let's say that our to-do API is kind of more orange-ish. And then maybe we'll mute this down a little bit, maybe bring this up a little bit. We'll get some custom code. So what we want for this is the primary and primary foreground. So let's grab these. And put them in. Foreground. Okay. And we'll use the same for both in this case. It'll work kind of okay, but for demonstration purposes, it's fine. You can go further and add more elements in here and customize more aspects if you want to. The kind of basic ones that you would want to do would be primary and primary foreground. So if that's all looking good, we'll save it. The server will restart automatically. And then if we go back to our documentation, we can see that some of the colors have changed in certain areas. So the line under API reference here has changed to the color that we specified. Our active link has changed to the color. The buttons have now also changed as well to represent the primary color as well. So really quick to customize elements, and there's a bunch more that you can do as well. But we're looking good. We're getting close to something that we can actually be giving to people. So I'm happy with this. The API reference is looking good. It works. People can use it. It's got everything that I need in there. If people need to interact with it, then they can. But it's not really a fully complete documentation site yet because we just have the reference. And right now our documentation still looks like this. So let's go in and add a couple of pages to this as well. So we'll start by changing out the index page, which right now says welcome to Zudoku, which is incorrect for us. So let's add in more of the to-do API features in here as a welcome page. So if I move this out the way, we can go into pages, and that page is this index MDX page right here. So I've got some markdown ready to go. Just pull this in here. Okay. Don't need this. Let's change welcome to Zudoku to do API. Okay, let's save that. And then if we head back over to the browser, we can see that the page is updated. We've got our new markdown represented here and our list of features. So if we then click into the documentation, the next one that we want to do is this index page for the documentation itself. So for that, we'll just grab the features that we listed and we'll find this in documentation in the index. Now this is going to need a title, so we can use markdown formatting for this. Okay, don't need this one. Okay, and again, go back. We see now that our list of features is here on the index page as well. So there's a couple of other pages that I think we need to add here. Let's do one about the OpenAPI document. It's available as part of the API, so maybe we want to give people some idea of what it is that they can actually do with that. So let's add a page for that. Let's take this example one page and modify it so that it's about OpenAPI. So example one in the project, let's close these, is this example page here. So let's rename it, call it OpenAPI. And then we will give it a title and our description. What can you do with the to-do list, to-do API, OpenAPI document? And we've got some markdown that we can use for this as well. Let's grab this, paste it in. Let's wrap that. There we go. So that's our OpenAPI page is all done. We're happy with what's in there, but we need to actually make it so that it shows up because we've changed the title now. So in our sidebar navigation in this overview, we were linking to example before. We don't have an example page anymore, so we're going to need to change it. In this case, we can change it from example to the name of the NDX file that we created. In this case, it's OpenAPI. Save it, restart it, and we'll pull the browser back in here. And now we have our OpenAPI page. If we click on this, see all of the elements that are in here. And I think if I expand this out a little bit more, we can see down at the bottom here, we've got our navigation that would take us onto the next page, which is, in this case, another example, but not the example that we want. So let's add a page about submitting feedback, right? That's what we're creating this documentation for, is to give to people so that we can get feedback about it. So let's do that next. Move this out of the way. Okay, another example, we'll rename it, call it feedback. Change the title, and we'll put our content in here. Let's grab this. Okay. Again, let's wrap this. All right, our feedback page is in, and we also need to now add this into the config. So our other example page has gone away, but we now have a feedback page. Okay, so the server has restarted, and we will check it out. Okay, so the page is not found. That's because that's still looking for other example. Let's get rid of that, go back, expand this, and our feedback page is now showing up in the sidebar. We can click on it, and we've got everything that people can do to submit feedback about our API, GitHub issues, GitHub discussions. We also have sub navigation for all the different headers that appears automatically on this side of the page as well. So we're looking great. we've got some pages in place that are useful for people. We've got an API reference in place that's useful. It's functional. So I think we're good. This is certainly a great start, and I'm ready to deploy it somewhere so I can actually send it to folks and have them give me feedback on it. So let's do this next. Now, it's super easy to go from this version to something that you can deploy, and you can deploy to wherever you like. You can deploy to Vercel, you can deploy to Netlify, you can deploy to Cloudflare pages, GitHub pages, whichever service you choose. You can even deploy to your own server if you want to, and I'll show you what you do to get to that point right now. So if I shut that server down, make this a little bit bigger, clear it out. What we can do with all of this now is actually build out a static version of the site, which can be used to upload elsewhere so that it can live on a server and people can actually see it. And all you need to do this is do npm run build, and it's going to go through and compile all of the static files that we need, and then it will spit them out into a dist folder after that. So if we open up dist and just clear this out, we can see that we've got HTML pages, and inside of server, we've got all the JavaScript that actually makes the site work. So we are good to go with that. And I can actually take what I've created here and deploy it directly to something like Cloudflare pages, and it will be up and running real fast. So if I clear this out, what I can do is use Cloudflare Wrangler, enter the name, to do API docs. The production branch is main in this case. Okay, that's been created. So now what we need to do is actually take what we generated, that dist folder, and push it up. So we can do that using this command right there. Clear this. So what this is going to do is take the dist folder and just push everything up to Cloudflare pages in its static form. Okay, so that's been uploaded, and if I jump over to Cloudflare, you can see that the project has been created here. If I click on visit, I've now got a production version of the API documentation that we just created, all powered by Zudoku, customized and delivered in a very functional state really, really quickly. So there we go. We've gone from this OpenAPI document to this much better looking, fully functional documentation site. And it's all powered by Zudoku, the open source documentation framework that we created here at Zuplo, which is available now. You can find it on GitHub. And if you also head to zudoku.dev, you can see a live preview of what your documentation would look like if it was using Zudoku. We hope you enjoy.